So who likes true crime? I know I like true crime. Let's check out this true crime stories by Ryan Baker, Ryan Baker, public school system. Anyway, let's check it out, y'all. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to this channel.
Chapter 11. Gregory Scott Hale.
Gregory Scott Hale.
June 8th, 2014 will be a date that will always haunt Charles Hyder. That day was the day he received a call from his ex-wife, Lisa Hyder. Lisa, a 37-year-old store clerk, was finishing up her shift at the liquor store she worked at, which was located in Manchester, Tennessee. She asked him if he could pick her up. Charles informed her he was some distance away and told her to wait for him. No answer. When he was en route to pick Lisa up, he called her to let her know he was on the way. Lisa never answered her phone. Thinking she already got a ride back, he drove home and called her again. Still, she did not answer. To his horror, Charles would later discover his wife did get a ride home that day. It would also be the last day of her life. My hero. 37-year-old Gregory Scott Hale lived with his parents in Summitville, a rural of Tennessee. The neighbors knew enough of Hale to cause them uneasiness. Hale had moved back in with his parents when he lost his job at the meat processing plant. He was terminated for taking blood, bones, and the eyes of slaughtered animals home with him. Taking home animal parts was only one of the bizarre habits Hale demonstrated. He idolized serial killer Richard Ramirez, popularly known as the Night Stalker. In the summer of 1989, Ramirez went on a killing and raping spree in Southern California. He was convicted of 13 murders, 5 attempted murders, 11 sexual assaults, and 14 burglaries. Hale inspired to be like Ramirez and obsessively read Ramirez's manifesto. When Ramirez died earlier that year, Hale wrote on Facebook, "R.I.P. Night Stalker. Wish I could have met you." He frequently blogged and posted pictures on Facebook to share his obsession with Satan worship, weapons, cannibalism, and Ramirez. Hale also posted pictures of himself dressed in black, armed with large knives and other weapons. He also posted pictures holding venomous snakes and the heavy metal group Slayer. He also posted the following comments. "I hug the people I hate, so I know how big to dig their hole in my backyard. If someone were to become a cannibal and eat a vegetarian, would the vegetarian taste like that fake soy meat?" Deadly encounter. Hale was driving through Manchester when he stopped off at a liquor store to get some beer. When he left the store, he noticed an attractive woman waiting on the corner. That woman was Lisa Hyder, who had just gotten off work. Hyder had recently separated from her husband. When they had been together, they had lived in the suburbs of Chattanooga with their 6 children. They had separated because of her alcoholism. Her refusal to get help eventually created a breaking point in their marriage. She also had another demon to deal with. She had ovarian cancer.
Oh, damn.
Hyder was staying with friends in Manchester and was waiting for her ex-husband to come pick her up. Hale offered to bring her home. She hesitated at first, but was getting tired waiting. As they drove, Hyder noticed he was not following the direction she gave him. Hale told her that he needed to make a stop at his home. When they arrived at his home, he invited her inside. She was hesitant until he mentioned they could have a few drinks before taking off again to bring her home.
Oh, damn.
Hyder agreed. She did not have the strength to put up with all the stress she was experiencing in her life and wanted a drink. Hale got the fireplace going and sat down next to her. He poured her a drink and they started to talk about each other's lives. The effects of sharing each other's stories, the fire, and the alcohol came together to make her feel comfortable with Hale. Hale could detect this and moved in closer to her. They had a long kiss, and Hale suggested they go to bed.
What?
After having sex, they lay in
What?
bed. When Hydra fell asleep, Hale got out of bed, went to his closet, and grabbed his machete. Standing over her sleeping body, Hale swung the machete with a hard, downward motion that caused the sharp blade to drive through her torso. She let out a scream of pain when he swung at her again and again. Looking at the horrific results of his actions, Hale felt a great sense of pleasure. He had accomplished the kind of deed that his hero Ramirez was known for. The bedsheets were soaked in blood as it flowed from her deep gashes. His bedroom walls and carpet were splattered in red. Hale disembodied and decapitated Hydra's body. He placed her head and hands
She slept with him fast. Like, she just for a ride home?
in one bucket and her feet in another
I'm gonna come back to that. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me let it play.
one. Smiling with pride, he picked flesh from the body parts and began to eat them.
Oh my God.
He even used his phone to take a picture of the buckets filled with flesh.
Ugh.
He decided to bury the rest of her body in his parents' backyard, which had a burn pit. It was the perfect place to bury a body. Though Hale wanted to be like Ramirez, he was not experienced in committing crimes. He made an unbelievable mistake.
Lord.
Hale went to one of his neighbors and asked if he could borrow his backhoe. The mistake he made was the comment he made to the neighbor. He told his neighbor he needed the backhoe to bury a body. His neighbor called police, who arrived at Hale's home and arrested him. They found Hydra's body and the pails at the burn pit. Hale had no choice but to confess to his crime. He was charged with first-degree murder and the abuse of a corpse. While many thought Hale was odd, no one could have imagined he would ever commit such a heinous crime. As a neighbor stated, "I don't know what to think that this kid I've known for 28 years could do something this gruesome."
Jesus.
Caught just in time? A psychiatrist familiar with the case stressed the significance of catching Hale. He stated that Hale was in the beginning stages of learning how to kill. If he had not been caught, he most likely would have gone on to kill more people and had most likely rehearsed in his mind how to kill women by stalking them and imagining how to rape, kill, or capture them. Hale was arraigned on June 23rd, where he pled guilty to first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Jesus. What a crazy story, right? God, dog. But she slept, she just, like, wow, I see why homeboy divorced her. She was kind of easy. She was easy. Just get her some alcohol and them draws was coming off. Wow, God bless the dead. But, man, I'm like, dang, just for a ride home? You gonna give him the draws? That's a crazy story though, man. It's funny, a lot of people Robert Ramirez was one of the most charismatic. Robert Ramirez, people like, for some reason, he had a huge fan base. Robert Ramirez, him and Ted Bundy, I guess, because you know why? Hell, Robert Ramirez he had girls that wanted to marry. He was like, women were attracted to Robert Ramirez. Him and Ted Bundy, they was getting fan mail from women. One woman, I heard one story about women would send their underwear to Robert Ramirez. I'm like, this man murdered people. How is that? Oh, he's such a thug. Anyway, y'all, this is called True Crime Stories by Ryan Becker. And they have, like, I think 4 volumes of this. It's like 6-7 hours long, but stories are real cool. You can check it out on Audible. But what y'all think about this story and this crazy ass guy? You know? Anyway, leave y'all comments and subscribe to my channel. And talk to y'all later.